Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm trying something a little bit different with my microphone today because I noticed that the sound quality is still not great, even though the volume is a lot better. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different. It's going to apply to the writing life, but it's also a really great tip or framework that you can use for productivity and really evaluating how you spend your time. So I'm wondering if you've ever heard of the 80-20 rule. I actually had never heard of this concept, even though I'm a really big time management and priority junkie. But I came across this principle in Kate Northrup's book, Do Less. Now the subtitle says that it's a revolutionary approach to time and energy for busy mums, but I'm pretty sure that's just like a marketing thing because anybody could read this book, and it's got any woman could read this book. There's probably a couple of chapters that are specifically for women, but like 90% of the book could be read by anybody, and it's just really about evaluating how you're spending your time and energy and what is actually producing results. Now, Kate first heard about the 80-20 rule from Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week. And basically what the 80-20 rule means is that 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. Now, the great thing about the 80-20 rule is that you can apply it to so many areas of your life, not just business. So it's completely relevant to your finances, your health and well-being, your relationships, your creativity, anything that you want to measure outcomes and you want to maybe tidy up the actions that go into it, it's completely applicable. So here are some examples. 80% of your money comes from 20% of your actions, products, or sales. Let's say you have a fragrance business. 80% of those profits will come from 20% of your buyers. You will have a small section of your clientele who are frequent customers or who buy in bulk all the time. And those are the customers you want to narrow in on because that's where most of your revenue is coming from. Now let's think about it in terms of relationships. So 80% of those super connected, in-depth conversations you ever have are going to be with 20% of the people you ever encounter. In terms of health and wellness, 80% of your health and wellness comes from 20% of your daily actions. I mean, just think about the entire course of the day. You only spend so much time exercising and eating, and those are the two things that are going to contribute to your health and well-being. And of course, stress management. Anyway, you get the idea. Now, the 80-20 rule is super liberating in one way because it means that there is a very small percentage of your actions that can actually produce major results. But of course, the flip side is we spend so much time doing things that don't really lead us anywhere. So how does this apply to writing? I'm so glad you asked. Now here's the thing. If you were to take a wide view angle of your day, you would find that the majority of your tasks are these minutia activities. It's checking email, checking social media, thinking about to-do lists, running errands, taking care of domestic tasks. There are all these sort of like light, sort of nothing activities. I mean, they're not nothing activities, but you get what I mean. If you were to take an inventory of your average day from the moment you wake up to the moment you went to bed, you would likely find that the vast majority of your day is taken up with somewhat trivial tasks. And while these trivial tasks need to get done in order for your life to run smoothly, they're not necessarily moving the needle on your creative life or your writing habit or getting that book published. Now, many famous authors have publicly stated that they only write for 1 to 4 hours a day. Authors such as Stephen King, Neil Gaiman, Stephen Pressfield, Octavia Butler, Barbara Kingsolver, and Karen Russell. Now, these authors have stated that after those 3 to 4 hours of writing in the morning or the afternoon, the rest of the day is then dedicated to doing business tasks or personal tasks. if they do return to the actual manuscript, that time is usually spent on research, editing, or revising, not actually writing. Now, of course, these light activities contribute to the overall development of the manuscript, but they're not moving the needle the way that adding actual words to the page moves the needle, the way an actual writing session does. As you well know, there are so many little activities that are involved in writing a book. There is outlining, research, finding beta readers, then getting their critiques and applying that feedback. And there's invisible activities as well. Just thinking about the work is so important, and all of that stuff goes into writing the book. But the one activity that's going to transform the idea in your head into a final finished product is writing. So how do you figure out which 20% of your activities are actually creating the 80% of your writing results? Now, in the 40-hour work week, Tim Ferriss didn't really have an activity for how to figure this out, but in Do Less, Kate Northrup does. So in her book, Kate suggests that you grab a piece of paper like this, and on the left-hand side, you write down all of the typical writing tasks that you engage in, and on the right-hand side, write down your biggest wins to date. Now, you might be thinking, I don't really have any big wins yet, but I ask you to please be really generous and really gentle with yourself here, and maybe think a little bit broader. Maybe your biggest win to date is that awesome writing session you had last month. That writing session where you exceeded your own expectations of how many words you could write in a day. Or maybe you felt really proud of a particular passage you wrote, like you couldn't even believe you wrote it. Or maybe you just felt really great about the session in general. Your biggest wins could be starting a blog, or it could be developing a really great idea for a novel. Maybe it was completing a whole outline that you spent a month developing. You get the idea. So once you've thought of your biggest wins, you're going to draw a line from the tasks that contributed to that big win. Now you'll see I didn't actually go down too far because it was starting to become a bit chaotic, but I knew very quickly which activities it was that were contributing to my own big wins. And, surprisingly, it was writing, reading, and research. Now, while I do enjoy attending conferences and book events, and those activities do contribute in a way to my writing wins, it's more of an inspiration activity. It's more as a way to feel engaged with the writing community and to network and make connections. And it's a really important thing to do. However, it's acknowledging and being aware that while those activities may be enjoyable and they could be incredibly beneficial, the three things that will absolutely lead to a big win are writing, reading, and research. Now again, you can see that some of the activities like social media, that really does help with my blog and with the success of Every Time He Dies and with my YouTube channel, but it doesn't have a fingerprint on every win. Whereas, say, again, I didn't draw lines from research because it was like absolutely everything and you just wouldn't have been able to see what was going on. But you can see that the research, reading, and writing sessions touches all of these big wins, whereas things like critiques and edits are relevant to some activities, but not so much to other ones. And then things like, I did put it on here, email, it literally was useful for 2 tasks. Now, of course, I am a writer and I have an author platform, so I am going to engage with my email and with social media, but it's just having that awareness of how much something contributes to your success and how much time you really need to invest in certain activities. Here's the thing, time is an unrenewable resource, so it's pretty important that you know where you're spending it and that you're spending it on activities that are actually going to be beneficial to you. Let's face it, we're all tired, we're all busy, and we're all trying to do our best. I don't want to fill my day with busy activities just to look busy. Instead, I'd rather invest my time into the few activities that are going to lead to the results that I want, so then I can spend more time on the things that really matter. So there you have it, guys. That's the 80-20 rule. I so hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up to support my channel, and of course, feel free to subscribe. You can also find more writing advice on my website, taraeast.com. When you're there, be sure to sign up for my email newsletter. When you do, you'll get access to my cheat sheet, The 7 Ways to Stay Motivated as a Writer. My debut novel, Every Time He Dies, is available now, everywhere. Just Google it or you'll find it on my website. I'm also on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, obviously. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. I hope you have an awesome week, and I'll see you again next time.